67. Today we're going to review the next release on version 0.194.0. But first we're going to make sure the stream is operational. And we're live on Twitch. Welcome to Code Hangout number 67. And I think we're here. All right. So, is this just me or is there an echo? Am I just talking too loudly? All right. I was just going to have a quick look into maybe finally setting up a changelog. So, I was just looking how we're supposed to do that. Ooh, what scripts changelogs? Once per version. Yeah, I think we're going to create a changelog file. Just here. I really should have done this a long time ago. And we're just going to look at the differences between 175.3 and 194. In particular, we want to take a look at some of the hotfixes I pushed into 175. Oop. Oh no. All right, come on. Scroll. Oh, come on. Oh, why does it scroll so slowly? Oh, okay, that's scrolling fast. All right. And I'll stick that in here. I don't really have a lot of experience with changelogs, actually. I don't know how formal or informal they're supposed to be. So, let's have a look. Let's get rid of all of these. All of the update puzzles. They're not relevant. Boom. 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 That's just when I'm updating the puzzle database. Okay. All right. Then, what were the hot fixes? So I think that one is broken restart handling. 17503. I'm actually going to look at those individually, make sure they're in. So 175. So 17502. What did we change here? So I'm pretty sure this carried over, but we're going to double check. That's kind of what I'm going to do today. Just going to check on the, yeah, so that's that one. That's in. I'm just checking the hot fixes I put into production are also in the beta version. And then we did, oh yeah, I screwed that up and I had to fix patch the patch. Patch it all around. Okay. And was there 175.1? 175.1. So 175.0. Update production. I'm not seeing 175.1. Actually, might be a bit small for you guys. Here we go. I'm just looking for updates to production, a hotfix, because I just need to make sure they're also carrying over before, because I'm running on, it's a bit of a janky system where they're actually in separate folders, so I can deploy them simultaneously and run them simultaneously. Okay, so I do not see a 175.1. 0175. Ah, here we go. Okay, this is really bad. I shouldn't do that. But here it is. Okay, so it has the prefix prod. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not gonna do that again. Basically, I did both in one commit. I shouldn't have done that. Should have done them as separate commits. But what did I change? Okay, it was the use capture stuff. All right, no big deal. That's at least synced. All right. And then 1.7.5.3. And then what's the latest version right now on production? 7.5.3. Okay, so we're basic up to date as much as we need to be. That's good. So let's have a quick look at the actual changes that have been done. And we're gonna look mostly at the big picture stuff. Like I'm gonna get rid of all of these. I don't even know. Basically just the version changes. .178.2 improved string plus pen colors. Edit pen tool colors. Yeah. Pen action skew, the refactors we don't need. That's a hotfix. Okay. Show scene cells for non-9x9. I think that's been updated anyways. These were just sort of adding files without actually adding features. Okay, so that's actually pretty close. Let's get rid of the hashes. Don't really care for them for the change. Or should we keep them in Changelog? No. You can find them from the versions. So we're just gonna have 0 through 9, A through F, asterisks, 0 dot, and a regex match. And we want to replace that with v0 dot. And replace all. Boom. Okay. Now that has all the minor stuff in it. So I think we should just have kind of two sections maybe. So, and I'm just gonna call this 1.7. What's the updates? 1.75.3.2. And let's have a quick look at the actual changes, and let's do it on a blank puzzle. Ooh, daily puzzle is ready. Let's use that. And here we go. Right. And let's go from the bottom up, I guess. So we've updated some print styles. Like the minor stuff, I'm not even gonna put it into the kind of new features. I guess we'll do this. And we'll subhead this as, what shall we call it? Commits. And main features. All right, so main features. Let's start from the bottom. Move errors beneath highlights. Okay, that's not really a major feature. Keyboard debug logging. Nope. Change key handle support Cyrillic. Yeah, all right. So that's one item. Added pen tool colors. Let's stick with the American spelling, I guess, so I don't just switch back and forth all the time. All right. So what's next? The killer calculator, I think, is new. Actually, I don't know. Is the killer calculator already on the production? I don't know. Killer oh, it already is. Okay, so that's not new. That was in the last release. It's been improved a lot though. All right, add some filtering. Ah, yes. Okay. All right, so now you can filter by cage sums. Handling limited balance to puzzle side. Yeah, all these little improvements I'm not going to mention. Fixed drag event, hide killer calculator when no cage is found, patch frame first fixed cage sum calculation, mark self digits. Mark self digits on keypad. Mark self digit on keypad. Keep time during restart. Allow keeping timer on restart. Okay. Yeah, the row column labels is a bit experimental. So the so Ranks requested a feature to enable row and column labels. The problem is I need to put the row and column labels into the existing SVG file. So I had to squeeze them in there. So these on a larger puzzle, so for example, let's say we go here and look at something like this one. They're double digit. So you see the 12. I mean, I could potentially move it over just a tiny bit, but it's very risky that the digits then get cut off and stuff. So it's kind of a compromise to squeeze them in there to make them visible without doing the extra work of actually modifying the SVG on the fly. Because obviously this is a feature that can be enabled and disabled. So basically the SVG would have to be changed. Like, I don't know if I have to redraw the whole SVG. I could potentially change the SVG on the fly. I haven't even thought of that before. So, but I didn't want to spend the time at this stage to actually do that. Actually, let's have a look here. So if we get the SVG, so Query Selector. Is this big enough? Can you see this on the stream? Actually, I don't think you see the bottom of the browser, so I'll pull it to here. So if we're selecting SVG, right? No. We want to select a specific SVG, obviously. Not just any old SVG. We want to select the SVG render SVG. This one, right? So let's do this a little bit saner here. I'm literally just gonna have a quick look if in theory we could modify the SVG on the fly without having to, because obviously I could re-render it, but the problem is the resize. Actually, one of the problems is the resize calculation will actually modify. You know, the moment I do this, I think the SVG will change. Let's just poke into it, because I don't actually know. I don't actually know if the view box is the only thing I need to change, right? So if I do this, I think I get it in a different format. Yeah. So I can pop this open. No, not like this. I want to convert this to an object for the purpose of the logging, because it does special logging for an HTML, so it expands like this. But I want to be able to do, yeah, I want to be able to treat this as a standard object, I think. So I can just drill into it in the console. Nope. Object.sign. Maybe? Not sure if that'll work. Yeah. How do I log an object? I've known this. I knew this in the past. Ah, wait. If I do like this, if I basically log it as a second argument, because it expands it as an HTML, as a live HTML element, which is not what I want. Ah, parent.children. If I do this, parent element. Yes. Okay, here we go. Excuse me. No. Oh. Wait. Yes. Okay. So now we can look at this as a JavaScript object instead of an HTML object. So what I'm looking for is the view box, because it could just be a string attribute, and then I have to manipulate it as such. Oh my god, there's so many view boxes. It's an SVG animated rectangle. Okay, so let's just mess with this for a second. So if I do svg dot view box dot and how does this actually? You're always derailing me, Mark. I had such a plan of doing something quickly. So Mark, it's Mark's fault that our replay parser is now twice as fast. Completely unnecessarily, because it only takes like 0.003 milliseconds or something. All right, so method svg rect read only. Okay, these are read only. I mean, I can assign the view box as a string. Width and height, which will mix width and height. All right, let's just manipulate it and wait. I actually want to know what the anim val and base val. What's the difference between the base val given attribute for any animations? Read only and current animation. Okay, no, we don't care about that. So we're doing base val dot width. So first of all, we're gonna output this. Second of all, well, no second of all right now. We're just gonna try that. So it's just like that, huh? So if we say add, no, wait, and then if I change this, does it change? No, okay, that's very good. So the scaling happens elsewhere. So we can say plus equals 32, for example. And now there should be space on the right side. And, well, don't want to do that again. And now the x, we'll do a minus equals 32. And now the spacing, so maybe that's all we need to do. Now we need to do this relative to the internal magic. And I think the internal magic is based on, let me look, S on the cell size, right? So imagine we want to add half a cell, right? So we'll say let margin equals boom times 0.5 math dot like that. Can I do this just to freeze the value, right? And then we'll do this plus margin, minus margin, and we'll do the same thing with the height. Whoops, nope, I don't want to say that. So let's refresh this. So we're starting with the S not defined. Oh, SVG renderer. Okay, so we saw it move. So that gives us plenty of space. Now, I'm not sure if I can easily translate this to the size that I actually need. But I could, like, I obviously don't need half a cell worth. You know, I don't mind keeping these relatively small. Let's see what that would look like, actually. I'm not going to add this in, but this might be a nice thing to do as a next update. This was an external thing here. Yeah, so we can't do this via style sheets, obviously, because the view box, it's relative to the existing view box. I don't think we can transform it via CSS in any way. Now we have render labels and clear labels here. So let me just paste this here, and then we'll do a quick... I don't actually know how often this... I mean, this was a very quick thing. Like, it's not optimal, whatever. It was quite, like, shoehorned in quickly. So, render labels, clear labels. So if I disable these, clear. If I render... Why does it render label? Because it clears after it renders. Okay. So this is a little dangerous because I don't want to change it, like, because I was going to say, okay, we remove this every time we clear and we add it every time we render. But if we're clearing before we're rendering, it might make the whole thing kind of flash. So we actually want to check if there's something to be cleared. So if we're disabling it, we're getting a clear A labels call, but probably from a different place, right? From handle toggle. And if we're enabling it, we get render labels also from handle toggle. So we basically want to do it here. You know what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna make it always call render label. I think that's what I'll do. And then it just checks for this, right? So if feature enabled is true, so clear labels just happens at the top, right? So clear labels will happen here. Then we don't need that. And then we'll just check if feature is enabled. If not feature enabled, return. Boom. And then we don't ever need to call clear label. I think my thinking was at the time I was trying to figure out if there's an API where every feature sort of exposes a function to remove the items and to add the elements or whatever it needs, you know, kind of initialize itself and deinitialize itself. Or destroy itself. So if we do this, then we can just always call render labels. Well, actually, we don't want to always call it because because this might be called multiple times, right? with the same value. So when you already initialize, we don't want to call it again. So if I do this now, refresh here, boom, boom, boom. Okay. So then basically what we got to do is, the problem is, the problem is I was just thinking here we won't know if the state has actually changed, because we only need to do this if the state changes, if the feature is going from enabled to disabled, disabled to enabled, right? So actually what we want to do is true, false, and then here enable feature. And then we basically want to do feature enabled equals enable feature, and if feature enabled is not equals to enable or equals to enable feature, we return from here, then this doesn't actually happen. Right. Now I'm thinking I'm basically just moving this code up here. Am I okay with that? The thing is, we have 3 states, right? We have a force sort of render. Okay, I'm kind of screwing this up, so let's not do that. Let's revert this. Revert. Yeah, because I'm really just pushing this logic in here, and there's a reason why the logic is here, right? So I should probably not touch this here. So I should probably just do it here. Handle load. I don't like this because I'm just realizing this. Ah, no. Okay, so this only happens if the feature is enabled. Okay. So clear labels is, yeah, it's a different thing. So what we really want, well, we'll just do it separately. So we'll do init feature for init feature. And then, man, what is the opposite of init? I know it's like done, but it's done is not a verb. Destroy, remove, or add space, add margin, rem margin. Let's keep it let's keep it primitive, right? And then we'll call these specifically down here. So we're adding margins here, and we're removing margins there. We're adding them before we render, and we're removing before we're clearing. And only when we're toggling. Otherwise, we don't actually mess with the margins. Now, the problem is I don't know if the margins get messed with under other circumstances. So this is why I didn't really want to look into this sort of thing just yet. So So we should have an add margin, and then we should have one remove. Add, remove. Now, if we refresh, there should be no remove. If we enable it and then refresh, there should be one add. Okay. So then what we can do is svg renderer.get. No, I think we need framework.app.svg render.svg element. Yeah. So we'll have SVG equal, and then we'll just say let viewBox equals this, and then we'll just replace that with viewBox, basically. And then here we'll just do it in reverse. We subtract the margin, we add it, subtract it, and we add it. Now, like I said, I'm not super happy with this because I don't know if this messes with something else elsewhere. Oh, I'm gonna calculate the margin. And I think we'll just do this. So, yeah, you see how it shifted? But I guess it makes sense in terms of maintaining the amount of space used, which is kind of what it should be. I'm not seeing any... Oh, Mark, sorry, I didn't realize that... 1 second, I haven't been seeing your chats. Initialize scaling. The scaling issue, they don't get cut off after resize. It's not important. Maybe we should continue to run around the grid. The label should be inside the padding by reducing the padding when the labels are shown. No, the labels are on the padding. It's just like the current padding is quite small. Sorry. I gotta find out why the chat isn't working properly on Restream. It always does that. Why? And I don't notice it. Yeah, it does have a little X actually there when it doesn't work properly, but... And I even wrote a welcome message and I didn't double check that it actually went through. Oh, this is so dumb. Is this going through now? I think I'm now... Yes, okay. Sorry about that, Mark. All right, so now obviously I can make them larger, and I think they're currently sized in up here in this styling. And how did I position them? Because they're positioned via this stuff. Well, I mean, what this enables me to do now basically is I can make the text larger, and I can, you know, move it over a bit and give it more space. So this would be rows. So 5.05 point minus 0.1 minus 0.2. Ooh, so much space. The other problem, Mark, is I don't know. I mean, the thumbnail generator, obviously, whatever tool I'm using to run the thumbnails, I wouldn't be enabling the feature, right? Because the thumbnail generator is basically generally runs on a separate instance of the application. So we probably don't want to have this stuff running when I'm creating thumbnails, right? The other problem is obviously the further out I bring it, the more it potentially interferes with other elements, you know, such as, such as, let's find another test puzzle, such as little killers. So by really squeezing them in there, I had less of a risk of it interfering with things outside of the puzzle. So by keeping it quite small, now obviously it might be too small for some people to see properly, but if it overlaps with other elements, it could get messy very quickly. So probably what you really want to either bring it out much further or at least have it visually kind of with an outline and all that stuff. I think I'm gonna back off of this for now. And yeah, but then the changes are so minimal that it's almost not worth doing, you know? And then maybe all it really needed was a minimal change. What exactly was your original our bit is asymmetrically positioned. Left side should be slightly moved left, top row slightly lower. Well, the thing is, on the top I had more space, right? Because of the way the margins are sorted or organized. The other problem is that I could bring them over more if they're single digits and then just squeeze them in when they're double digits. But then I'd have to basically switch the code depending on the number of rows that are marked, you know, which would potentially also make sense, right? So basically bring them this close for double digits and then bring them over a little bit for single digits. I think it's not actually that would not that hard be that. God damn it, that would not be that hard to do. Let's have a quick look at that option, because then maybe we really don't need the thing. The other problem is, you see, I'm only numbering the elements relative to the detected play area. So we might literally have a single digit even on a 10 or 12 square place, right? Let me think, how is this being calculated? R min RC, max RC. So R minus R min RC, max RC. So it depends on min RC as well, right? Okay. So if we're calculating max RC minus min RC, so if this is 11, then we gotta add 1, right? Plus 1. So this is our, yeah, digits. And our rows, okay. Let row count, and then let call count. So if I do this and this, now we have 12, 12, right? And then we could adjust these offsets, right? So let's pre-create those as well. Let's call them the row offset. And it's basically these two currently for rows, right? And then call offsets would be negative 0.2 and 0.5. Right? Row of 0. Row of 1. And then this would be call of 0 and call of 1. Right? And now we can say, so this would be the good ones for double digits. So, let's make these separately. I mean, it's just a lot of fiddly code, but I guess stuff like this sometimes just works out that way. Greater or equal to 10, then do this. Or let's do this smaller than 10. Do that, otherwise do this. And let's just start it off at 0. And then we'll do the same thing with the column offsets. Where for now we're... Actually, for the column offsets, it doesn't make sense, because for the column offsets, I'm just centering, I'm just centering them, right? And here it didn't make sense to center them because then the digits would be offset. Like, I didn't want to center the 1 halfway over the 12. So actually, let's just do it for the rows then. So let's just get rid of all the column offset stuff. Column offset. So that's just minus 0.2, column plus, and I hope I'm not mixing the two up. And then we don't need row count, column count. We just need the row count. Get rid of that. Right. And we have row offsets. So these would be like that. And then these would be like that. Except the other way around. The opposite direction, so further over. And then these shouldn't be affected. So then these would be squeezed in kind of close, but then like this, they'd be like that. And then maybe these won't really be necessary anyways. Let's just see how close we're getting. I mean, it's super tight, right? But that's kind of the point. And I think it was on these double-digit ones where I foresaw the problems, the potential problems. You see, at that font size, actually, we still have plenty of space, even for the double-digit one. So we can actually bring it over even further, I guess. That's a single, that's the double. What if this is also minus 0. Maybe I was just too kind of over-eager to squish it in there like that. You see, it also depends on what else there's on the board, because on the size of the board, right? Because there's a fixed margin as well. So what wasn't cutting it off here, but you see, if I added a second digit here, it would have to move over. While here it doesn't. So it's a bit of an annoying thing where these sizes are not necessarily fixed, right? And that's kind of the problem, right? So it won't work on some random size puzzle that I don't test for. No, well, anything that has something on the outside will be fine because the SVG is just going to be bigger. Whoops. Because this one, for example, is relatively large, but it doesn't have any extra elements. But because it's a relatively small puzzle. Yeah, I know it looked pretty squished, but I considered this kind of a very hastily done, quick thing, so I didn't really want to spend too much time on it. Also, you know, it's a niche feature. I don't think a lot of people will kind of be using it. Let's look at this one, because that's kind of on the big side. Yeah, you see, you get some weird stuff like this, which was another reason why I wanted to bring the digits really close. Like, it doesn't really work for something like this. So that's why I'm saying I don't expect this to be something that can be just left on at all times. So yeah, and that's why I made them super small as well. But I do appreciate that they might be too small for some people to see them comfortably. But I think they're like most people, 99.9% of people will never use them. I think Ranks mostly was using them together with other setters to be able to reference cells more easily when they're talking about stuff, or maybe even for streaming, you know. So, So that's single digit spacing. That's double digit. Like even the double digit here, I think I want to bring that one in closer. And to be honest, even the single digit one, I'd like to bring it a little closer, maybe. But like now the difference to how it was is so minute. Oh, I'm not sure if it's even worth doing, because I've barely touched anything now. So I think I'm actually at this point, I'm kind of tempted to just go back to how it was and not worry about this now, and then revisit this at a future time. I mean, I kind of like this refactor here, but I don't think it's worth like committing a change for it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back on this. Like the margins we don't need anymore. Yeah, I'm just gonna revert this. We'll get back to it in the future. maybe when we have like a proper sort of test set of puzzles that we want to be able to support and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I understand that this is not like an elegant thing, for sure. Well, most of the time things are a certain way because they kind of have to be that way, because I mean, like here, for example, we have the space, right? Like, I could even do something more intelligently and say, hey, if there's a bigger margin. But then the problem is the margin is probably there for a reason, right? So that probably means there's something in that margin. Now, I could look at all the elements in the SVG and do a bounding box comparison to make sure I'm not overriding, but then it starts getting really nasty, right? So I don't know, for example, if this should be on the outside of the puzzle now. I even consider just putting it into the HTML on the outside of the SVG. But like, this was something more like a prototype. It wasn't really a full baked puzzle thing. All right. Allowing keeping time on restart. So let me just go through the thing. Let me get to the top of this list at least. Mark solve digit style. So mark solve digits was added in this release, I think. So now we have the show scene cells, which I'm very happy actually how well it works at the moment. So let's put the big ones in. Edit, and let's go by what it says in here. Edit. This is under gameplay, right? Mark solved digits settings. Gameplay. I'm going to mark that here, so if someone sees it, they can, because I'm people often don't know when I add new features because it's not really well advertised. So I'm just going to put that in there, and maybe in the future I'll have a place where I can post about these things. Edit show scene cells. Check on the finish show scene cells, and edit show rows call labels visual, and edit check pencil marks settings gameplay. Let me put the visual to the top just so it's in kind of the orders. Let me actually put these are like the main features, and then this is kind of the best of the rest. And I think that's really the kind of, yeah, I think the dialogues are actually, there have been a few changes. I think like the restart, confirm, that's the keep time, all right. So add fill breakage sum, marks of digit, allow keep time on restart. Keep time in confirm restart dialog. So that's that part. That's the thing. Line predictions shows anti-chess rules. Mark self digits. Patch for broken restart handling. Restart dialog. Auto cancel on touch. Fix negative replay length after unpost. Yeah. So various fixes and so on. Fix restart dialog. Auto cancel on touch. Yada yada. Check prepare. Check if it works. Fixed features. So I think that's kind of it. Now, I don't know if this is a good way of formatting it. I don't even know if this is how you spell Cyrillic. I think it might have fewer L's than that. Nope, has that number of L's. All right. All right. So I think I'm gonna add this as a changelog. Let me actually look at how this looks on GitHub. Nope. Do I not have a single GitHub open? Nope. All right. Let's just go there. And I need to push this. So there should now be a... I should really move all the Firestore stuff into a subfolder, especially since I want to move away from Firestore. Do I? Do I? Are you sure? Are you sure? I used to have a... I thought I had Markdown here. Markdown. I thought I had Markdown support here. I had all sorts of Markdown things. I had a Markdown tool in here. Markdown, 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 Markdown. Nope. I had all sorts of stuff in. Oh, this one? Stack edit? Maybe. Oh, yep, looks like you're right. God damn it, I already committed it. Yeah. Whatever. What do I know? Nothing. And I lost my GitHub page already. Nope. 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 Did I open a new one and I closed it already? Like an idiot. Did I just hear a cat meowing? We don't have a cat. Never mind. Do it again. I guess I closed it. Yeah. All right. Oh no. Oh no. This is not it. God damn it. That is here it's doing it properly. Does GitHub have its own Markdown syntax? I wouldn't be surprised. GitHub Markdown line breaks. How can I get things into explicit beer tag? Oh my god, seriously? Easiest way is to ensure that each line ends with 2 spaces. I don't want to put spaces behind everything. Like, according to Markdown, this should be just in its own line. But GitHub disagrees. I don't really want to put spaces after all of these. And I don't want to have to try it over and over and over again. Can I hit this here? Come on, GitHub. I don't want to make it a list. I don't want to have the list markers at the front. I have a list here. I specifically didn't want to make this a list. But I guess I will. In the interest of getting on with it. All right. Wow. Third commit just for this one file. Wait, no. God damn it. Stop it. I think this is the more... No, I'm gonna stick with the arrow, even if it looks a bit odd. Alright, it's good enough for now. I'm guessing this will evolve a lot going forward. Alright, and in fact I'm running low on time. Guests are arriving in 20 minutes. So what we're gonna do is, I'm not gonna do the release today. It's always a bad idea to do the release last thing in the day. So we're just gonna play the daily puzzle as a little test run on... I think this was the daily puzzle, right? And I mean, to be honest, most things can really only be tested by lots of people playing it, because I can never replicate all the weird different circumstances out there. So if I try to test stuff, I just won't hit the... I won't think of the situation that I actually need to test for. All right, let's see. So no Sudoku rules apply along each gray line. The sequence of numbers may alternate between increasing to... By the way, I also want to make an effort now to add things for myself, like things that when I play that bug me. For example, I added some feature to my Twitter. So I have this little script for pulling puzzles out of Sudoku Solver from Twitter. And what I added was recently that it added cages for the so let's say they have an XQ Sudoku here. I can open it, right? And I added cages for these. So as you can see, the yellow highlights go across the diagonals. And if I put a 5 here and I enable the pencil mark checker, it will actually mark it as red, because it knows there's a 5 here. So it understands the diagonals automatically just because they're made into a cage. What it doesn't do, the cage, is the Windoku stuff, right? So I think I want to do this. Now I've seen that some people from the dailies will just create killer cages, but they don't look as neat because Windoku traditionally is just the gray boxes. So I might even automatically detect that. If it's a 9x9 and it has those 4 cages in those positions, it actually turns them into Windoku formatting automatically. And this is the sort of stuff I'd like to kind of work with in the future. And then maybe there can be like meta flags in the future in the data where people say prevent this sort of auto-managing, formatting of puzzles. You know, it's got to work most of the time for most things. All right, gray line. The sequence of numbers must alternate between increasing and decreasing. I don't think I can finish this because our guests have arrived, and it'll be very awkward if I'm streaming in the middle of the in-laws running around. So I'm going to call this the end of the stream. I'm very happy with adding this changelog. I'm going to publish this into the Discord chats. And very early next week, I want to release version 0.194 before I do any additional features. That's it for now. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. And don't forget, patreon.com/SvenCodes if you want to help out and see me do more of this stuff. Take care. Have a good day.